Welcome back to the Have Not Room. I am Ben, joined here by Chad and Brian to talk about Week 8 of Big Brother 27. And we're here a day early. Normally, we've been covering after the eviction episodes, but we're here right after the airing of the Power of Veto episode on Wednesday. So we don't know who's going to get evicted tomorrow. We have some ideas of who it might be, but with the blockbuster still in play, still up in the air. But I really enjoyed that 90-minute veto episode, and I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on it, but yeah, let's jump in.
Yeah, Chad, go ahead.
Yeah, I think they covered a lot. They finally talked about cheat mance.
Sweeping the nation.
Oh my God. And then the whole stuff with, trying to get Morgan to use veto on Vince instead. I'm glad they included that, gave it enough time, which I think that's what these 90-minute episodes are actually good for, is giving a lot of extra context, because I'm sure something like that would have been skipped over in like a normal season on a Wednesday episode, because nothing really came of it. But who knows? But yeah, good Wednesday episode.
Yeah. Ben, how close was Morgan to doing this?
I think that I think if the veto ceremony had been earlier, she would have done it. And then after the veto ceremony had ended, there had been moments where she's talked about regretting not using it on Vince. So I think that this definitely was not like a throwaway thing that the show is just using to build suspense. Like, this is legitimately something that almost happened.
Wasn't a real you can't keep getting away with it moment.
Yeah, it was almost like a 3-act play in this episode, where in the first part of the episode we have a Vince DR where he specifically talks about how Morgan is the one person in this game that he hasn't burned yet, and then by the end of the episode we have him openly conspiring behind Morgan's back to try to trick her into using the veto on him instead of herself.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it seemed like there's that's a good thing, but that was actually a bad thing, is what he meant. He was like, I have to remember.
It's like I got one left on my checklist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, say what you want about Vince, and I think that we could probably say plenty, especially given the content of this episode and what we talked about last week, with him pretty openly emotionally cheating on his girlfriend on national TV. But he is, for all of his faults, he is blatantly self-interested, and to a fault, I would say. He might be the first person on Big Brother that is too self-interested, because most, I would say 80% of Big Brother players could do with a little bit more selfishness and self-interested playing. Vince, almost relishes in just lighting his allies on fire for a small advantage in the game.
Yeah, when showmances are strong friendships are I would throw in my game for you. Vince is very much I would throw away your game for me to all his allies, which I appreciate.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is what we talk about. We talk about wanting players to go on Big Brother and to play unabashedly self-interested and be snakes and weasels and rats. It makes the gameplay more interesting when people aren't willing to be Mackenzie's last season, bringing Chelsea to the end and losing unanimously when they otherwise would have won if they had made the other choice. I know obviously Cody Calafiore is one of the best to ever do it, but still him bringing Derek in 16 is considered one of probably top 5 dumbest moves ever. And the reason that it's considered that, and a lot of the dumbest moves ever are considered that, is because they're just people flagrantly doing a thing that goes against their obvious best interest. And Vince is he sees an opening to do something that might benefit him, and he takes it no matter what.
I guess that's one good thing about Vince.
Yeah, no, in more ways than one, Vince will take any opening to benefit himself, and
Damn.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I guess we can spend a moment with that. I was actually a little surprised they showed this. I guess they balanced it out a little bit with Rachel being like, "Oh, maybe it's not what it looks like," but everyone else is like, "Dang, that is some overstepping some boundaries by Vincent Morgan." I liked Ava walking in. That was a big clip on the feeds this week on social media. Her walking into Morgan, stroking Vince's arm, and being like, "That's I'm just waking him up," which is hilarious. And
God.
she's like, "No one's ever woken me up like that."
Yeah. Yeah. I guess for context for that scene, Vince was awake, obviously, but he was in bed, throwing a fit over being a have-not and having to eat slop, and like he's eaten very little as a have-not this past week, and so he's like been throughout the week. Complaining about like how hungry he is and how like the slop's making him upset tummy and everything. So that was him resting in bed because he's malnourished and being comforted.
Doing the full martyr approach, like Coach on Exile. Yeah, unfortunately for Vince, no one's ever been a have-not before in the history of Big Brother, so tough draw for him to be the first one to ever have to eat slop in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, personally.
Yeah, first and only. But I actually had a question about the have-not room while watching the episode. Did they give them beds to put on top of the cutouts?
No, they do this. This is like one of those things that kind of like rides the line. They do this like pretty much every season with the have-not room, where they like will take blankets or pillows from the other bedrooms and bring them into the have-not room. And it's like it's kind of like it's a gray area, I would say, in terms of the rules. And Big Brother is not historically, in at least modern Big Brother history, been very good at enforcing have-not rules. Even all the way back, in 21, famously.
Yeah, very famously.
And so it's not really going to be something they're going to be like, especially even this season. They're supposed to not be able to nap or sleep between the hours of 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah. So in theory, in practice, there's been a lot of napping this season. They just call it meditating, and they put sunglasses on and they go and they nap. Ava in particular naps a lot. Very openly, and this is we saw in the episode like a week ago, her eavesdropping while napping. Will nap in the backyard pretty openly. He'll put his sunglasses on and he'll nap for hours on end during the day. And they have not been called out on this really at all this season. So yeah, the rules very lightly enforced.
Yeah, I feel like you can tell if production likes a cast by how strict they are with their rules. If you're not giving them good stuff, they're gonna be like on top of them, like no sleeping, no bringing blankets into the have-not room. But if you're bringing some good stuff, they're gonna let it slide, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's a good balance. When did that rule start? That started with OTT, right? Since it was like 24/7 live streamed show.
What, the no napping rule?
Yeah.
No, that's always been a thing.
Yeah.
It's much heavily, or obviously BB Can's not a thing anymore, but it was much more heavily enforced on BB Can. BB Can in general did a much better job of enforcing their rules and doling out punishments. If there were like people breaking rules, or even like just like for random reasons that were like not even like that serious of like infractions, Big Brother Canada would like put the entire house on slot for a week just as a punishment, or like like lock down like the snacks in the cupboard or whatever. Like they would They would do all
No
kinds
Wendy's this week for anybody.
Yeah. Barring any sponsorship deals, that's true.
Right?
So like Big Brother Canada is almost the opposite end of the Goldilocks spectrum, where they would just like dole out punishments for fun.
That's hilarious. They also had some pretty gnarly have-not rooms on BB
Yeah.
Can.
Yeah.
A ball pit one season, horrible. Imagine trying to sleep in a ball pit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they had one that was just a completely empty room. They had what else? The church pews was really bad.
Yep. Oh, they had one where there was like actively like water in it.
Yes, yeah, the moat. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that was weekend 6, I think. Yeah.
That would suck. You have to get up to pee in the middle of the night. You
You
get fall into water.
You fall into the moat. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible. Bring it back. Honestly, come on. I don't know what channel had it. I can't remember, but bring it back.
It was global at the time that it was canceled. It was sliced for the first couple of seasons, but yeah, no, I mean, this is I think BB Can is a cautionary tale, right? Because they canceled feeds, and then by 2 seasons along, the show ended up tanking. So
yeah,
feeds are the thing that carry the show, no matter how many people say otherwise.
No, I totally agree there. And it kind of allows us to have an episode like this where we can kind of project out what's going to happen without the full information. So, I mean, with that being said, what do you think is going to happen this week? Like, who is most likely? And then I guess we can kind of break down the outcomes of the blockbuster.
Yeah, so we can, by the end of this episode, we have Ashley on the block instead of Morgan. Morgan does end up using the veto on herself, luckily. So we have Vince, Mickey, and Ashley as our 3 nominees. And right now, Ashley seems like she is safe. We have Ava, Rachel, and Will as relatively locked in votes to keep Ashley safe. And then if Mickey comes down, Mickey would be the 4th vote against Vince. And then if Vince comes down, Morgan would be the 4th vote against Mickey. Because then, like, Morgan would save Vince over Ashley, but would save Ashley over Vince. Or save Ashley over Mickey, sorry. That would be 4, regardless. Is this 100% locked in? No. But I would say it's like 80 to 90% locked in both scenarios. So I would say I would be very, very surprised if we left tomorrow with Ashley leaving, but that wouldn't be the first time I would be surprised by an outcome of an eviction this season. So I'm not writing it off. Between Vince and Mickey, it's very interesting right now, and for most of the week, Mickey has been the one in more danger than Vince. In particular, Ava has been very anti-Mickey for a while now, basically since like the end of her HOH reign, at the end of Ava's HOH reign. And since like we've had this whole like Mickey exposed party where like everyone realized that Mickey kind of lies to everyone and like does these like it's kind of just pathological in general, but like does a lot of like kind of snakery behind the scenes. Most of the people in the house don't trust Mickey beyond like using her as like a short-term vote. And Ava in particular really, really dislikes Mickey and blames her for a lot of the ills that has befallen her. So it's really going to be difficult to, I think, get 4 votes on board to save Mickey if she's on the block in any circumstance. But it's not impossible. I would not be surprised if the vote doesn't flip against Vince, because Ava also, especially today, in conversations with Lauren in particular, has gone on a very anti-Vince tirade. And a lot of that has been Ava trying to get Lauren on board to vote with the House in the Vince versus Ashley situation. Because Ava knows that Ashley stays there and she wants to make sure that Lauren votes with the House so that she can, try to insulate Lauren as an ally for her. But it's not impossible that we get to a point where people are anti-Vince enough that he would go over Mickey. The issue is Mickey repeatedly continues to put her foot in her mouth and burn goodwill with people like Ashley, people like Will, Rachel, even to a degree, but especially Ashley, who has been arguably the biggest Mickey defender recently, or like, since people have turned on Mickey, is very, very annoyed with Mickey. She just doesn't really know, I think, when to cut her losses and like kind of shut up. She'll like continuously run information to Vince, spill things that really don't help her game at all. She has a really bad read on kind of where the structure of the house sits, and she thinks that she's kind of safe when she's very much not. She's even had conversations with Vince implying that she wouldn't try very hard in the blockbuster because she feels that safe. So yeah, right now, if I had to guess, I would say if Mickey loses the blockbuster, she's likely going to be the one to be evicted. If she wins the blockbuster, then Vince is likely the one to be evicted. But not locked in. Definitely could change. We still have another, a little less than 24 hours now, but probably 18 hours realistically.
So should be interesting. I guess, Chad, Keanu's your winner pick. How are you feeling about Keanu's HOH reign? As a Team Keanu guy for the podcast.
I'm so mixed on it because I'm kind of happy he stuck to his guns. I don't know if his noms were good for him. I mean, I get the logic in wanting Morgan out, and Morgan taking a veto win is kind of no bueno for him. But I think if somehow Ashley or maybe Mickey really doesn't do anything for Keanu if she goes home, Vince, I don't know. I think Vince going home would be worse for Keanu because there's maybe some chance of salvage there, but I doubt it. But I think Ashley miraculously going home would be best for him, but it's not going to happen. So I think no matter what, Keanu's on the outs with his whole house. So really anyone going home is good for him, and just getting another week is good for him. So like it's kind of like he's in a corner as is. So
he made the jury though. That's not nothing.
Any week where he's not home is good for him, and I guess Kelly being in the house is good for him, and Lauren, but those are the only two. So
yeah,
it's like a net zero.
He didn't really do much to improve his position this week, but luckily his position was so bad he didn't fuck it up anymore because it's almost impossible to. Unless I'm wrong, unless he somehow dug his hole deeper.
I think he dug his hole deeper. Yeah, I think that his upside is that Kelly both is seen as a bigger competitor and a bigger annoyance by enough people that it's not impossible that Kelly is targeted before him still. That's, the Will, Ashley, Rachel contingency has discussed preferring to target Kelly before Keanu next week. But he could have hypothetically left this week with, at the very least, Rachel, if not both Rachel and Ashley, not targeting him like as an immediate nom for next week. Like there are like, say Rachel wins next week's HOH, right? Her nominees are going to be, assuming the blockbuster is over and it's two nominees, her nominees are going to be Kelly and Keanu. If he had put up Ava even just this week instead of Ashley, which would have changed basically nothing in terms of like the actual outcome of the week, because Ava stays over anyone, Ashley's going to stay over anyone. The like likelihood of both Mickey and Vince leaving would be relatively the same. It would just prevent him from pissing off Rachel and Ashley. I think Rachel legitimately would have put up Kelly and Laura next week instead. Like there is like a path there for him to have stay off the block, maybe even one veto, be able to use it on Kelly, get both him and Kelly around further. Whereas now it's like, unless Kelly or maybe Lauren win the next HOH, one of Keanu or Kelly is leaving next week, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest loss for him, is pissing off Rachel even more when he was like, maybe going on the up with her again, which I never believe it with their relationship at all. But who knows? But yeah, I think that was kind of an error in putting up Ashley. I mean, it is what it is because she's not going to go home. But like you said, putting up Ava would have done basically the same thing. Not pissed off two people, and like Ava's. I mean, she could probably win another HOH, but now we're getting a little late game where I think comps might start being more, less crapshooty and more actual like skill based or physical. So I think Ava winning HOH, the longer we go, is less likely.
The thing is, though, Ava's going to put up Keanu anyways. Like,
Right.
He didn't put Ava up this week, but if she wins HOH next week, she's still going to put Keanu on the block. So, like,
Right.
It didn't really, it didn't buy him anything. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why people, and I saw this either on Reddit or Twitter, one of them. Why are people like? Why is he not like trying to cut deals? Why is no one trying to cut deals with the little bit of power that they have? I don't understand.
I mean, Vince cuts deals, I would say. I think it's like, again, one of the things that Vince does a good job of. He'll cut deals and then he'll tell other people that he cut deals for them when he didn't. Particularly Lauren, so I think that like there are people doing that. Just like it definitely like you can't expect really high level gameplay from this cast. I'm sorry, like you're not going to get it. You're going to get a lot of drama, a lot of dumb moves, a lot of like yelling, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. There's no surprise that the best players in this house are the ones that are sleeping half the day.
Jeez.
Will and Ava.
Yeah, it's been an interesting season to watch for sure, where it's like Rachel is doing so well, and it's not even like people are hero worshiping her. It's just that they're just not quite good enough to do anything really.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fun. I do like that Vince is being just such a snake, and I honestly would love for him to stay and put up Keanu next week. Like if he wins, like I just think that'd be very funny to watch happen. I don't know if it will happen because it'll also be very funny to watch him get evicted pre-jury after everything. But I think like we talked last week, or maybe the week before, Vince won HOH, where it was like, oh man, Rachel's probably his biggest threat to just like steamrolling this season, and he had the chance to at least put her up last week, and he just didn't do it. And I think that's going to be the thing that he looks back on and regrets second most to emotionally cheating on his girlfriend.
Well, I think that the issue, again, I'm talking about this last episode. My main issue with how Vince handled his HOH last week was less about the individual nomination decisions and more about just like the interactions and like social maneuvering he did around those decisions and how like non-committal he was to a certain like plan. And that's why I think Keanu felt very strung along throughout Vince's HOH week, and why he like felt so like kind of burned by the ultimate result of it, because Vince legitimately made Keanu feel like he was involved in the decision making and that like Rachel was going to be put up, and then only for Keanu eventually blames Morgan for this rather than Vince more so, but like Vince does kind of catch astray in terms of how Keanu organizes his nominations, but because the information does funnel back to Rachel that Keanu was trying to get her backdoored. Like this is just really not good, because like again, like you can't like play both sides when you're HOH. I'm sorry, like it just doesn't work. Like this is kind of like a fundamental issue with Vince's game in general, is that he's trying to play all sides, and it's probably the reason why both of his HOH reigns have been disastrous. Because he continues to try to play both sides while he's in power. And like, it's really hard to do that, right? Like, I think like one of the main examples of somebody doing that well that I can even think of is like Andy in BB15 when he wins his HOH. But like it's like a very, very fine like road you have to walk in order to like keep in good with the maximum number of people, and while you're like playing this sort of a game, and yeah, Vince just like has no qualms about like stringing people along and then burning them when it becomes annoying for him to continue stringing them along, and he did that to Keanu last week, and it's come back to bite him.
Yeah. So I mean, I know we wanted to keep it shorter this week, due to scheduling stuff. Is there anything that you guys wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to yet?
I just think it's funny that Vince doesn't want to piss anyone off except apparently his 7-year girlfriend. Like the one person like you probably should keep happy.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, it's just kind of ironic that that's his whole game. Yeah.
He said he said on the feed today she's not jealous. So.
Oh yeah, no, obviously not.
Yeah, because she called in.
yeah. She yelled over the wall. Like it's totally fine with what's happening.
What do you guys think of Ashley's little speech rebuttal thing at the veto ceremony?
I thought it was fun. I think Keanu probably needed it. Based on how he acted this week.
I mean, I don't think this got through to Keanu.
No, yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess Keanu probably deserved it more than needed it.
Yeah.
I love. We haven't seen a ton of Ashley this season, so I love that we got like a little bit of her personality coming out through it, and like I don't think most people probably expected that from her. So that was fun.
Yeah,
I think she's right. Keanu will probably be on the block on Friday.
Yeah, that part she's right about for sure. Like, like I said, I think everyone in the house except for Kelly and maybe Lauren would put him up. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the whole scene, and I was just like, there really is not a single person in this house that is likable in any way, except like maybe Rachel, and even then, we just like her because she is who she is. At least that's
I like
my
Will.
opinion.
Will seems cool.
I like Will too, but he's like he hasn't done anything. Like,
I don't
know. That's probably why I like him. Yeah, exactly. He hasn't done anything to draw the ire.
He hasn't done anything to earn us liking him. He hasn't done anything to hurt him. But like, going off.
I like that he throws every comp. That's fun.
I mean,
intentionally trying to lose last week's veto and almost not losing. Oh, that was great.
I mean, it's BB27. Let's imagine BB30s, maybe an All-Stars. Do we see anyone in this cast? I mean, they're going to pick someone from this cast.
Yeah, no problem.
Like, who left would even be like an All-Star at this point?
Yeah, Keanu.
I think Keanu,
I would guess Keanu too. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but
no, I mean he's been.
I think Ava as well. I think they like Ava. They use Ava a lot in the diary and for like little segments.
Do you think that she'll have a new big hat, like a different?
Well, I think the one thing I don't know if Ava would play this game again. I mean, if I'm being completely fair, I think she might say no.
I think that's fair, and on this podcast I've said a million times, like when Steve was asked to play All Stars and just laughed in their face, like, yeah, that's probably the right thing.
I think it's fair of a winner, yeah.
Yeah. This is a psycho show to go on.
Yeah.
I agree.
As much as I would love to, in theory, play it, like, I don't know. It's a lot,
Yeah.
And the fans are so intense.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely very, like, psychologically daunting.
Right.
For sure.
Oh, man.
It's a very long game.
Yeah. So yeah, anything else?
No, I'm excited to see what happens from here. I think that like we're kind of settling in, I think, to a a path forward. I think if Vince goes out, we're looking at a Rachel or a Will win, and I don't really see a lot of other options because I think that I think Ashley will be in the end game in that circumstance, but like her chances of winning a jury vote right now seem very, very slim.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like a lot higher, I think, on Rachel's chances to win the season because it feels like her final two at this point is with Ashley. Yeah, I think that is legitimately a final two that Rachel wins. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Well, Chad, anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
All right, you can follow me on all socials at the handle right down here.
And Ben, same thing.
Yeah, you can follow me, I guess, on Blue Sky. You know, I haven't posted recently, but you know, maybe I'll post again next week, depending on how interesting next HOH is.
Right. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, the fake BMar. Ben and I will be back next week to cover Survivor Australia's finale, and or I guess Australian Survivor's finale, not Survivor Australia.
Survivor Australia versus the world.
Versus the world, yep. And then we'll be back next week with a new episode of the Have Not Room, breaking down all the craziness, who won HOH, who got nominated, vetoed, and ultimately evicted. Follow the Have Not Room on TikTok. I don't know if I'll go live or just like make videos after tomorrow's episode on there to get some like, you know, real quick thoughts out there. But yeah, other than that, main channel, we can get everything. You guys know the rest. There's a lot. You can find the links in the description. We will see you all in the next one.